Hey, it's Adam here, and you're watching The Culture Hack, where we're talking about how to create engaged workspaces that unlock the potential of your teams and drive your business forward in ways you've never seen. So stay tuned. Okay, here we go. Welcome to The Culture Hack. I'm Adam, and today I'm super excited. I have Murray Malley, the president of HR and Inc. on the show with us. Welcome, Murray.
Hello. Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So Murray, and I just learned this, you have a rebrand coming up that's super exciting. Do you want to talk to us about that?
Yeah, we're rebranding to call ourselves PeopleWell, and we went through a whole process of determining what we are. So we discovered that HR is something that a lot of people don't want to be called anymore, like human resources. People want to be known as people or persons. So we went out and we explained to a whole number of people what our software and what we're all about, and the word people and well came up. Out of 1,200 people went through a process, and people and well came up about 75% of the time of one word that people would describe what we do and what our system does. And then we have a knowledge well, so we're quite excited about it. It's a long process, and not sure if we want to go through it again, but you learn a lot about yourself when you go through these, because you have to keep explaining to people what you're about. But our organization is about people and engagement and what that means. And you know what? It hasn't changed for 60 or 70 years. Everybody keeps thinking that it's different now, but it's not.
Okay, so
engagement hasn't changed.
So I'm super intrigued. What is engagement to you then?
Well, when you first asked that question, I was sitting there thinking of it, and engagement is a human thing. It's between people. You can't engage, I can engage with a computer, but I can't engage, because engage is communication, and it's understanding, it's body language. So, our whole culture is based around engagement of people. We have to have discussions. We have to see everybody's different viewpoint, because we're developing software and solutions that solve the entire problem around your life. Because engagement is, in order to engage in different activities, you have to get out and get involved with things. So, to engage a person to a company, there has to be relevance between both parties. Relevance to what the company is doing and its purpose that relates to the individual, and the individual having the relevance and what skill sets or whatever you want to call that coming into the organization that will satisfy that. So when two relevancies combine, it becomes engagement, because now you're willing to come and work for me for the pay and what we're doing. And if the relevance isn't there, then there's a disjoint and things don't work out. So we developed, that's what we think engagement is relevancy.
Okay, so it's clarity around relevancy. Why am I here? Why are you here? Do we both agree that that's a good thing? Let's get to it.
Which is the purpose of the organization. I mean, you can flap your gums and I can flap my gums all I want about what a great thing that we're doing, but when you're experiencing it and you're going, no, that's not what you're doing, then you're not going to get engagement. And then people quickly leave, or they go, I don't want to be here. So you have to be able to define your purpose. And it was a couple of our people a few years ago that said, what's your purpose? Why are you building this software? Why did you build it this way? And when I was able to explain it to them, now our people are engaged and don't want to leave. It's, they go, this is a much bigger purpose, and it's a big picture thing. So
what do you see? I mean, your software solves problems, it removes obstacles. What do you see are the biggest obstacles when you go into a company and introduce your software? What are the biggest benefits you see right away?
Well, the biggest benefit we can do is make the organization we go into much more efficient. We replace a whole bunch of paperwork and spreadsheets, and we eliminate all of the need for different apps to do things. So now people have the ability to say, what is it more that I can do for the organization, as opposed to what I did before. So the challenge for us is we're trying to change something that's been in place for 150 years. My wife made a very interesting comment one time saying, with all these computers and everything that is coming into the world, it's so funny that we have not come one step farther in the last 40 years than when the computer was first interrupted. Excel spreadsheet, we started out with, I don't know if you remember the green ledger sheets, we used to do all that, write all the information in. Well, that's all Excel is. It duplicated that. It's brilliant. I mean, it does many more calculations. You don't have to do them outside of it, and you can build the formula into there. So that makes things more efficient. But now people are using that, and then they have to do a bunch of information and then enter it into another software and enter this into another software. So companies and small business have to buy multiple softwares in order to engage their people. And then if you pay somebody wrong or you don't get them the benefits, and benefits are a funny thing, the insurance and banks have had an oligopoly power for hundreds of years in forcing us to do things because they just say, here it is, this is take it or leave it, and they all do it. We've broken that. We allow individualism so that an individual can choose their benefits and take it with them wherever they go. And nobody else can do that because we understand the flow process of information by watching and observing and then saying, how do we eliminate that need to do all of this outside stuff? Now, people have a chance to say, Adam, let's, what can we do here? What can we make better? How can we do whatever it is we're doing better? We have more resources heading in that direction as opposed to administration.
I love the idea that, technology is a funny thing, but it will magnify whatever's there already. So if you have a problem and you add a technology solution to it, whatever that is, it won't fix the problem, it will magnify it, and now you've got a complicated tool that has the same problem systemic in different ways. So people engagement, that's always been a leadership problem. It's been a people problem. It's, regardless of how you're running your business. And then if you add in a software designed to, automate some of the stuff you're already doing, now you've just amplified the exact same engagement problem.
Well, it just, putting a Band-Aid on something doesn't fix it. It covers the problem, really. So, when I was turning companies around, one of the things I always said to people is that let's be very careful on the accounting software we choose because of, whatever software they were going to build. This was 20 some years ago. I said, because if you get involved with the software that your competitors use, you'll become your competitor. So if you have a competitive advantage for some reason, and that's people, that's the way you do things, or something, or the way you figure stuff out and calculate that makes you more successful. If you get involved with the software that forces you to input it in a certain way and get certain reports out that all your competitors look at, you become your competitors because you have to analyze and review everything and get it prepared exactly the same way. So you can lose your competitive advantage when you bring in software. And, so that's what we have to be careful of. And that's, one gentleman explained our system. They said, you have to thank all of your competitors and all of the new competitors because all they do is replicate what all the other competitors do with their software. They just put a different color on it or a different front end. But it does exactly the same thing, which is what you were trying to get around, but somebody sold you a bill of goods to say, oh yeah, it'll do this. And at one time I used to buy software. I said, okay, I will pay you a 50% premium on what you're wanting to build, charge me for this software if you can set it up and show me it works. But I'm only going to pay you 20% right now. So you can get another 100 and, this is not right math, but you can get another 130% when you set it up and work. Guess what? I never, ever paid 150% for that software. I only paid 30%, and quite often we threw it out because it doesn't work. And I just said, I don't care what it shows on your laptop and your demo, because that demo works. We know it works because you built it to work. Mm-hmm. But my problems are different than that. So we built our software so it starts at the very basic and it's driven by the individual,
so
not by adding.
Yeah, you've got a software, you've got an innovative methodology behind it, which I just love
just touching on it. Yeah,
we're just giving the surface with your own team and sort of developing that. Do you find that you attract a certain type of personality that wants to think differently or wants to disrupt or change the game? Like how has been your
It,
experience with an innovative
well,
product like
when we
that?
talk to people that are, to come in and program and work with us, we tell them what we're doing. And so the only thing I look for in a person when we look at, when we're interviewing them is, do they have a brain and can they change? I really don't care what your background is, your skill set, or your education. When we have those discussions, it's interesting. When we look up and we say, this is the person for us, we've never looked at their vessel. So I always say, I don't care what vessel you come in. I don't care if you're brown, purple, pink, blue, whatever I don't care what you identify. I don't care. It's your mind that I'm after. So when we look up and around our office and all of our programmers and that, I've got just about every culture in the world in here because they have a different perspective. And we're in a multicultural society, and our software has to satisfy every culture, not whatever Canadian culture is or American or whatever, because we're all people. We come at things differently. But when we're looking at our health, or we're looking at how we get paid, we're looking at, you can choose how you get paid on our system. So everybody in the company has a different pay structure, but the company is within budget because the company shouldn't care how you get paid. That's the C-suite of all of the big companies. So when we look for people, we just talk to them and see if they fit within, and if, we communicate and we are together a lot. All of our people say we have to be in the office and working and collaboratively because we're dealing with some pretty complicated movement of data and information. So, as I say, I've showed you this picture here, and this will be another story sometime, but, we've got a cube, right? It's got 6 sides. So what's it represent? So if you take a look at if you try to take a look at what's in the middle of it, anyway, it's my dog.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so,
Yeah.
but it's 6 ways of looking at the middle. I have to identify the 6 viewpoints or the 6 facets in order to understand what it actually is. So when I keep turning around, I go, oh yeah, that's a dog. It may not be evident from one side. So that's how we work here, is that comes out sometimes when we start getting groupthink. And that's what groupthink is that you don't listen to everybody. And that's the biggest part of our culture, is we listen. We may not agree, we may, but when you're brainstorming, it's funny that something weird that was said at the meeting, somebody blurts something out and everybody laughs and go, yeah, you moron, now it's silly. Suddenly 2 months later it becomes relevant because of other information that comes available, or somebody's, it's funny how our mind works. And that's why logic is there saying, that was actually brilliant. And then we bring it back into a discussion later. But our whole purpose and our whole discussion around here is that everybody talks and listens. And you have to be in person to do that, to see the body language. Once we understand what we're doing, they can go home and hide and program and do the different things. Now, when they have a problem and get on on screen, they're only dealing with a single thing, but they know what the bigger picture is. And they understand as I say, and there's emotion involved in developing concepts and process. It is emotional sometimes when you suddenly go, oh my gosh, we can make somebody's life so much easier, or give them the opportunity to make their choice. And that's what our software is all about. That's why it's people well, and we have a knowledge well of non-exploitive knowledge.
I love that.
Because everything you get on the internet is marketing orientated to get you to buy something. I don't think our new website's going to have a get a quote button on it or get a demo, because you have to understand why you're here. And that may be a bit weird, because talking to marketing people, oh no, you got to have this button every time to get them to, and I'm going, but that eventually that means I have to pester you. If you push the button, it's suddenly set up that I'll pester you for 20 times over the next month with emails or with whatever that mode of connection is. I don't like it, so why would I do it to somebody else? So that's so we want you to engage with us for the right reason. Understand what we're doing, and then, we've lost 4 clients in 20 years. because we're solid in what we do, and we give straight answers. That's what the knowledge wall is about. What's the purpose of why you're doing this? Not, I want to sell you something. You understand the purpose, you'll do it. Or if you don't like the purpose, you won't do it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like you've created a very purpose-driven team that's built a very purpose-driven product. I love the concept of a knowledge well, and I love that you're using diversity and cultural viewpoints, 6 sides, to your advantage. That's something that actually drives you guys towards success. So yeah, everyone, you heard it here first. Murray Malley of Peoplewell, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with, Murray. I'm pretty excited.
Well, so are we. It's probably about a month before we'll get it up online, but
Okay.
it's a lot of fun. It's and frustrating at the same time. That's the thing about coming up with new things, is that you have to be frustrated. As we always say here, we'll give you every opportunity to fail so you can succeed. Our job is to pull you back from the precipice before you fall over if you're going too far on something, but you have to be given the opportunity to fail to succeed.
I love that. What a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much, Murray. I really appreciate it. Hey, thanks for watching The Culture Hack. Do you want to chat culture and engagement? Give us a call and come on the show.